Okay. All right, Bill. The cultural commission meeting for August 11th, 2024 is coming to order at 5:30 p.m. With the board meeting ready. Let's call roll.
Commissioner Frazier?
Here.
Chair Hernandez?
Here.
Co-chair VA? Here. Commissioner Damiano? Present. Commissioner Tozer?
Here.
Commissioner Rudnicki? Here. Commissioner Amber?
Here.
And we have a quorum, thank you. Are there any additions or removals for today's agenda? All right, seeing none, I move to accept the agenda as is. Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Motion passes. All right, and are there any staff announcements for today's meeting?
I don't think so. We have a presentation that we will wait to show at existing business. Staff generated some ideas for the for future projects.
Oh, nice.
So we'll show it at the end. Otherwise, we have the call for artists out. And it closes on the 16th for the First in Virginia mural. And then at the next meeting, we should consider putting something together for the call for artists to send to the school districts for the Duvall Market mural. And then I believe we got pictures from Randy, who's working on the trolls. So that project is continuing, and she's oh, I don't know if we can share them.
Oh, we'll try. Oh, yeah, they're over there.
Oh,
Right behind you.
so working on that project, and we have our communications coordinator is writing a story on this and taking pictures, and we're gonna try to send to the media as well and see if we can fix it up.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm really looking forward to showing my parents that when they were here, and unfortunately they weren't hoping to get up at the time, but that's okay.
Then just an update on the call for artists for First in Virginia that was placed on the For Culture website today. And also an website called seattleartist.com, so placed it there as well. And then plus all the other places that our communications coordinator sent it out to.
Do you know if we have had any submission? Let me try that again in English. Do you know if we've had any submissions yet?
We have not,
Okay,
yeah,
we still got 3 days.
As I said, this is Good Friday, right?
the 16th. Yeah.
And then is there, well, what's the process for that? Like, I know I see that I'm looking at the timeline. So are we gonna look at some of those submittals when they come back in at the next meeting? It was just hard to tell from the timeline when it comes back here, or if it comes back.
Yeah, so I think what we do is kind of follow a similar process, is get all of you the submittals in time for the next packet, along with the scoring matrix, and we score them, and then we'll put it on an agenda and you all can decide where you want to go from there.
That's actually the same thing we did with the blanks.
We don't have a meeting scheduled between now and. Do we? Question mark.
Now the 26th.
There's one on the 26th.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect, okay.
Anything further?
I want to say that I'll be traveling in September all the way to October, mid-October. So I'll be gone for those meetings in September. And the second meeting, I guess the first meeting in October.
You don't mind sending an email reminder anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are very far out.
And then I was gonna say that I did for the funding. I have a list of things I sent to you. And if you want me to then look at actual organizations, if any of those funding resources you're interested in, then I would look at the actual organizations that apply to.
I would actually suggest talking about this in good order, because we still have the staff announcements section, but at the same time, glad to hear it. I did get the email and I looked it over. Anything further from staff?
No.
Alright, in that case, I move to accept the minutes of the previous 2 meetings as is. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. And that motion passes too. Seeing that there is no public comment, we should go ahead and move on to our next point of business, which is the biennial art plan, the vision, mission, and goals. There was a spreadsheet that we should have all gotten in an email so that we have all the seat statements, we could add or subtract things that we wanted on there. I didn't see too many options on there, so if any of you have anything that you would like to add to that, I'm not sure how we should go about doing that at this point. Our best bet is probably just to pull the seat statement up, and for anyone who hasn't added something, start adding something on there, if that's something that we can do. Administrator McKenna.
So my recommendation would be to put that, give yourselves a deadline, put it on for the 26th, because as a reminder, biennial art plan, at least a pretty firm draft of it has to go to council on September 17th. And so we can help as staff prepare it, but we need you all to kind of feed us the components of it. So if we have the components of it, I will commit to getting it put together in a form that council would accept, but probably by the 26th, we're getting close to the drop dead date of, you know, I mean, you need the content for it to be able to put it together and get it in front of council.
I highly suggest putting it on their to-do list so that you remember where it is. I would also, and this isn't a scolding or anything, highly suggest that y'all check your email once a day and make sure you hit that send receive button, because it won't connect to to our email server right away. Just to make sure we're getting those emails, and I'll admit I'm guilty of that too, so. Not a scolding or anything, just a general reminder.
Yeah, I mean, and it's gonna take, so I'm also presenting our preliminary city budget on the 17th, so please be gracious with me, I need enough time to write. So I'm doing 2 big heavy lifts for that meeting, you know, assisting you all with writing that art plan, but also preparing the city's biennial budget, so please give me enough time to work on it.
Is there benefit?
I just was wondering, like, with the seat statement, if we could have a short discussion, like, look at it and maybe discuss what we think should be on it, or?
That's basically what this entire exercise is. The seed statement is actually on there. It's basically, what our plan was to all contribute to this with suggestions, and then we would meld it into a proper revision. The seed statement is essentially just my submission for what I think we should do.
Yeah.
And it's on a SharePoint site. It's all, the seed statement is there. We can all just add or subtract, preferably not to the main thing, but as a list underneath it. And then we can just meld it, you know, massage it into a proper vision statement. That was the idea.
I think she's asking, can we do that now?
Right now, yeah, that's,
Discussion,
I was gonna say, 'cause we can just knock it out.
yeah.
We could absolutely do that if we can get that up and running. If that's the case, we can just open up the SharePoint here and then just.
Send it an email.
Oh, it's an email.
Cause I think I'd work better hearing other people's contribution.
So that one is.
Oh, sorry, did I make it too small?
No, it's weird, it's missing my statements, it's missing the ones that you and I had made on there.
Well, then, statements all amount to no changes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, both of them
That's
did
true.
fine.
The statements all amount to, we're fine with this.
Yeah.
So basically, I had a seed statement for the vision, a seed statement for the mission, and a seed statement for the goal. Like I said, I have no changes for that. However, if you have any additions or subtractions, now would be a good time to do it, because we could actually get this done today and get it to Cynthia at the end of the meeting.
I'll introduce.
Yeah,
I feel
all
that.
days, it's.
I feel that. So for the seed statement for vision, this was just something I threw together after reading some of the other cities' biennial plans and kind of putting my own spin on it. We pretty much have an art scene. I would like to expand it, but not just, we're doing a lot of murals. I would like to just expand that over performances, expand that to other items that we can do, sculpture. So that's something we can add for the edit.
I think like maybe incorporating local history or local culture or historical context.
So what we can do is, Real quick, let's look at the other statements, because some of these may actually go in the second statements, but if not, we'll put them in this one real quick. The second statement was our mission. The mission of the Cultural Commission is to maintain, update, and inspire the art of, about, and from citizens of Duvall, Snoqualmie Valley, surrounding areas to enrich the lives of the people of the city of Duvall. And the third one, which is the goals. The goal of the city of Duvall's Cultural Commission is to provide means to create opportunities, artists to exercise their crafts, offer partnerships with art organizations, and to create presentations to maintain an eye for future beautification. As the city grows, that is an incredibly long run-on sentence. So like I said, the suggestions that you both had probably work better for our goal or possibly for the mission. So I would suggest we just concentrate on one right now, and then move to the next, and then move to the next.
Okay.
So we'll start on the vision.
And then I'm just gonna take notes, and then at the next meeting, I can show you your completed vision,
Okay.
does that work for you?
That works probably.
Okay.
I don't expect us to massage that today, I expect that just to happen. I'd always just expected to have the note ready to give over to you all.
Somewhere, I had to look through it somewhere, yeah, right there, see.
I'm
So-
looking to see, so it's from 7:28.
I guess we could just go down the line and see if anyone has any ideas and just keep going down the line until we run out of ideas for vision. I'm good to go with this, so I'm happy to skip myself. If anyone wants to volunteer first.
Is there any benefit to adding expand? And I know, so commission is to maintain and expand, sorry. Maintain and expand the city's already vibrant art scene across different practices.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Yeah, that's fine, we could add that.
Otherwise, I like it.
I'm struggling a little bit with the word practices. I mean, it just different modalities or different, I mean, practices sound so technical.
The practices for me when I wrote that was specifically because I couldn't remember a word, and I still can't remember it for
Disciplines?
discipline.
Discipline.
That's what it is, discipline. Basically, that we would be doing not just like art, we would be doing performances, we would be doing sculpture. So disciplines would probably work better.
But various disciplines of crafts.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
across various.
Very-
And maybe throw something in there too about, diverse and equitable access.
I think that would actually go better in mission,
Okay.
because that means we're actually doing, this is what we want to do, mission is what we're going to do, and goals are what we're going to end up.
I mean, yeah, mission is how we plan to do it, I think, is that right, or?
That's how I'm seeing it. Vision is what we want to do, mission is what we are going to do, and goals are what we're gonna end up with. So I think while your suggestion is valid, it actually should go on mission, so we'll get to that in a minute.
So, I was thinking, because the original big Main Street project incorporated a historical narrative. And I don't know where that fit, but if we have it up somewhere, when we apply for grants. They can key in on that idea, because some grants really, they're gonna give you money because that's what you do, that's their thing. And it's in your, either your mission or vision, I suppose, is there some way we could add that somewhere?
I would see that in mission actually. This is going to be a very, very high level, this is what we're doing, and getting into the nitty gritty, that's definitely mission. And so keep that on the back burner for now, when we get to the next one, we'll add that on there. Administrator Matt.
So, just as a reminder that the overview of the public art policy has a pretty broad. Kind of vision and mission statement, as does under 1.1 purpose. Which is public art to bring meaning to public spaces, reflect the rich cultural diversity of the community. And encourage the creation of many types of art, so. These should complement what's in the public art policy. So just be mindful, and I can help with that, to have the cultural commission. Complement what's already in the public art policy, but not conflict in it anyway. Now, differently, the biennial art plan, work plan. Says that the biennial work plan should articulate the goals for public art, so. With vision and mission, just being thoughtful that the public art policy kind of already has some of that, but you can create your own. But the goal certainly is an articulated section that they're expecting to see in the public art plan.
So they want more of a, this precise thing is what we're going to do over the next 2 years.
Yeah, like our goal is to add more, expand this, create opportunity this way.
And just like me, I wrote the wrong binder, I do not have the art policy in front of me.
It's on the website.
Anything further then? So,
This is kind of, I'm gonna say, I should have said it. I think of a vision as something that you look out at, not. The vision is to create a participatory community. A vision is a community that is very artistically enlightened and, I just think of a vision as it's just a broad encumbering statement. But I've never done this before, so maybe this is the vision, the definition of vision they're looking at.
if you have another idea, we're all always like, this is not a final.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
I think that maybe because it starts with a good foundation and is it in our vision to, when we're doing this, to expand the vibrant art scene across different disciplines and crafts? Is that also in the vision, do we see that to engage our community and participate in it?
That would actually be a really good addition to this.
Yeah, I think it community vision.
And then it usually a vision is very short.
Yes.
Yeah, the meat of this is going to be the mission. Anything further for vision? Alright, go ahead and move on to mission. And again, this is basically my submission for this, so feel free to add, subtract, put your thoughts into this one, I'll stay out of this.
Now, this is one where you could add the history, because to Commissioner Bernanke's point, they will wanna see, if you're going for grants for historical organizations and somewhere. And the public art policy does reference that, just so.
So adding grants, stuff that would actually directly impact grants to mission.
Yeah, so I think I said incorporate the history and culture through narrative. Sorry.
I think that's a great one to add as well.
And is that necessarily historic narrative, or can that also be like more contemporaneous narrative?
Well, it can be history and culture, which would cover
You have an idea for
present and
mission?
future, in a sense. And culture can encompass many things throughout history. It's all a story, any component can have a story.
Story is in history. Any further changes, additions, subtractions? So for this one, we would likely just specifically add stuff that would involve the grants and history. I mean, make sure that history is listed in here,
Or narrative storytelling.
or storytelling. Storytelling history. So that would probably be something like about the citizens of Duvall, the Snoqualmie Valley and surrounding areas to enrich the lives of people of the city of Duvall. Update, inspire the art of, and tell the story
Yeah.
about the citizens of Duvall. That would be beautiful.
Point there.
Like that. I like that a lot. Any further changes to the mission? Move on to goals then. Goal of City Hall. This actually pretty much copies my vision because I always felt that was the goal. As Administrator Burnett mentioned, this would probably be a little more specific. And I'm not sure, would we want to have our projects listed under goals at this point? The projects that we're planning on doing?
Well, I think you could probably work backwards from this and get. So I put these up for everybody list what ideas you have for future projects. And then do an exercise for people to kind of vote on. So then once you kind of have the slate of things that you want staff to vet, and it can be, you know, as many or as little as you want. Your goals then would kind of develop around the projects that you want to put in the biennial art plan. With, you know, the hope that, you know, there's, you know, a diversity of types of art. So, you know, thinking about, you know, different viewpoints, different art forms. Embracing or acknowledging the unique history of Duvall through honoring the tribal agricultural economic heritage of the region. So I think you could get at your goals once you kind of figure out what your body of work that you want to put forward is, but you can also just, you know, you can try to articulate some precise goals as well. And that might be an easier way to get at it.
So like usually when I work with the vision and the goal is how to achieve the vision. We are pretty specific, like if I'm a student and their goal is to get to X place. Then we're very specifically saying, what would you do to achieve that vision? So if the goal is to have art and opportunities, would our goal be to incorporate? Really focus on partnership, you need money.
Yeah.
So partnerships or grants is definitely the goal.
Yeah.
Really seek out grants, as a specific. And really partner with granting agencies.
Yeah, I mean, a goal could be, you know, increase engagement with different art performances or different art installations, like, you know, part of what I think council's goal is in funding the cultural commission and funding art projects is that more people are engaging with it, you know, touch, sight, feel, you know, participating in it because or bringing people into Duvall, so that economic development aspect of the arts community. I mean, that's a big goal of council is to increase people coming to Duvall for economic development.
I mean, like a pretty big and bold goal is to create like an arts district.
Yes, so.
Which is something I'm very big on.
So we should talk about that, because it's also the goal of council, and so if we want to take on that big goal. The city cannot, so under the Creative Arts District, which is the program that has a lot of grant money associated with it, Rita and I are on Councilmember Perry's, I think it's not bi-weekly anymore, right, it's once a month. Monthly. So those conversations have been going on. Councilmember Perry has a big goal of having her district have the most creative arts districts out of all the districts. So Rita and I participate in those calls. Challenge here is that the city cannot be the organizer of the creative arts district. It has to typically come from a chamber or a nonprofit, which means that we would need DFA, Chamber of Commerce, or another to be the sponsor of the creative arts district. And then we would join in support, but the city cannot be the instigator of the Creative Arts District, nor can the city apply for grants under the Creative Arts District. So you all, as a branch of the city, could not basically be the agent for that, but we certainly could work with our chamber or DFA to support them in being the sponsor of the Creative Arts District, if that makes sense.
The FA has a meeting tomorrow night, if there's anything you want me to bring forward.
Yeah, encourage.
One of the things with the goals, specifically that I was thinking of was that we need to work better with the DFA. Specifically so that we can help each other, because I think we have similar goals. And I don't know a lot about them, so it'd be good for us to.
Undergoing a lot of change.
You may know this, Commissioner Bird, is Elizabeth Hill part of the DFA?
Yes,
She has been very much wanting to come in and meet with us. Unfortunately, she's not happening because we keep ships passing in the night kind of thing. I would.
Sit down for meetings.
I would highly suggest talking to her about it instead, because she's been talking to me about it, but since you probably see her more often than I do, that could be our getting DFA to help create that district.
I think now that the performances are over, her schedule might be open a little bit.
Which is where I should surpass it tonight. I see her at a thing, so.
I'll ask her.
For the goal then, this sounds like this is probably just gonna need a page one rewrite, is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So some ideas I've already got is basically how do we do this? Grants, engage with performances, engage the public with performances. See about possibly creating an arts district through the DFA, which of course we can't do, so I don't know if that should be in our goals or not, or. Just that we'll work with, engage with organizations.
That should be in our goals.
I think it should be a goal to have Duvall be part of a creative district or a creative district. I will tell you, there is a ton of grant money associated with it, but the city cannot access it. We need a nonprofit.
What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, what is it? How more about?
It's an 18-month certification process to become a creative district. And Rita and I will get some information out to you. But it is an organization at the Washington state level that certifies that your city or corridor or region has certain attributes that engage the art community. And so I'm kind of speaking off the cuff, I don't have the exact definition.
So it's exact definition, this happens.
Yeah, so basically you get certified, which means that you have created the logistics, the resource, and the foundation for the arts community to flourish in either your city or your region. So for instance, the city of Issaquah is a creative arts district. Where it's been successful in other places has been 2 or 3 cities joining together to create a regional arts district. So in theory, we could create a Snoqualmie Valley regional creative district. It's a little dependent though on your nonprofits communicating and collaborating together. When I was at the Association of Washington Cities Conference, I went to the discussion about the creative district where like Grays County out on the peninsula, they were designated a creative district on a county level with about half their cities participating in it. But it basically means you've created the infrastructure to support the arts community and that you're intentional about it.
What does that look like exactly?
We have now exhausted what I can talk about.
Yeah, I don't think we should get too far weeds on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a whole ton of information that I can send you. I might even have a PowerPoint saved for this conference.
Also, like Everett, they have one, and they're all different.
Yeah.
Unique to what those communities want, say they want. I think, what is Vashon Island?
Vashon Island is a creative district, yeah.
An amazing one there. But I think if you have that, then you have the funding. It makes it very vibrant.
Yeah.
So we want to just keep Duvall weird bumper stickers?
Yeah, and that's the thing, they all look a little different, like, the city of Olympia's creative district focuses on something different than Issaquah's, which is more natural habitat, you know, they have the fishery there. So they all kind of look and feel a little different, depending on that particular art scene and frankly, the nonprofits. The one that I, went to a presentation on Grace County was really about economic development, because they're trying to get people out to the peninsula to do business out there and to engage in tourist activities out in Long Beach and that area. So I think it just depends on what your focus is. I mean, you can imagine the Snoqualmie Valley or Duvall Creative District would have some emphasis on history, agriculture.
All we need is a cryptid.
Oh, it's not quite a cryptid, but I've actually been thinking a lot about like dark sky. We should probably talk about this in
Yeah, so we'll get you more information on creative district, but certainly a very worthy goal, because this is a 2-year plan, is to work with nonprofits to have the city of Duvall designated a creative district. That is a very specific and worthy goal.
Real quick question, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just curious to know, is there any links or things available in the government that we could see where there's an example or a video about creative district.
Yeah, I'll get you information.
Arts.wa.gov,
Yeah.
there's a whole thing, and there's videos and all the other cities and all that stuff.
Yeah, I knew there was a website that had all of it.
What's the name of the committee that you're involved with, that I saw a picture with?
It's a nonprofit called the Support Community for All. That's what was gonna be my next question. How many of us have connections with nonprofits that you can just go to them and say, here, this is what we're trying to do? I have a connection with two, a Support Community for All and Pride Across the Bridge. I believe you have DFA. So if we're members or just know of any nonprofits, now's the time to go to them and say, hey, we'd like to create a cultural district. How about you help us out?
So that's all great. But that's implementation of our goals and we're trying to figure out our goals. So
Yeah.
it's spending too much money getting into the weeds on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true, that's true.
So I think right now we just wanna talk about coordinating with local nonprofits.
Yeah, one of our goals,
Form a fine arts
yeah,
district.
one of our goals should just be talk to our nonprofit.
Build relationships to enable it.
On that note, we need to figure out better ways to get contact artists because we're woefully don't seem to be meeting our needs.
Yeah.
So, something that I've been doing is that every nonprofit, or not nonprofit, I've been going to a lot of festivals. I've been going to North Bend, the North Bend Block Party, I went to Summer Stage, I went to some of the others. I went to a farmer's market in Falls City with my parents, and one of the things that I've been getting is that if there's an artist there, I get their business card. This is something I plan to share with us in the future. But try and build a database of artists, since we're seeming to have problems with them coming to us, we can at least go to them. So if you're doing something like that, gather up as many business cards as you can and we'll make a database.
Sounds like that's one of our goals.
Sounds like a goal.
To increase and build an artist roster.
Yep, develop a database of artist contacts, local artist contacts.
And not just, because it seems like, I know some of the artists that have like murals, planks.
Yeah, you know what they do.
Sculpture.
Yeah.
So this looks like it's gonna need to be a complete rewrite. Did you have?
We don't have to define art, right? No. Got it, okay, everybody's got that.
Yeah, I almost think this just goes more from a statement to a list, so I think this is gonna be numerical.
This is us.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
would encourage you to find out what you can shoot.
Right.
Yeah, like
So
Exactly, and that's,
Like,
and you don't have to achieve all, of it, right, they're all goals, they're aspirational, they're things you're trying to do, but I mean, even as a
specifically
goal.
goals are aspirational.
Yeah, even related to goal like. One new public art installation. A year or one performance based art. In the biennial budget.
So maybe a goal would be, in the list I had of things is to have it in a public art policy, so when developers develop. A percentage of their take goes to a art piece or something, art installation, that's a great idea. I think it's 1%, I don't know,
Yes.
Built in Seattle, not King County in general, so.
I think it's every city.
To every city.
Yeah, it's up to every city, and our city doesn't have one, but you know, with all this development.
Right.
Yeah, and it's either funded through development or a portion of your sales tax, it can go into a public art fund.
So that could be a goal.
So could frame it as a long-term stable funding source for the development of art projects.
so seconded.
Writing some notes here. Anything further on the goal? Alright. In that case, we have a lot of notes for this, we've got a lot of rewriting to do on the goals, I'm happy to help with that, with the rewriting, just let me know what you need and I'll get it to you as soon as the video goes up, so I can make notes from the video. Anything further on the vision, missions and goals? So the next item is future projects, ideas and projects, however, it looks like we're gonna be doing an exercise for that. So is that something we should do now, or is that something that we're doing?
So I did two things. I created a PowerPoint of the city staff ideas. And then Which I will then take and transfer to one of these butcher papers, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, I think I put 8. So what I thought we would do is everybody take a piece of butcher paper, put your ideas on there. Then we can like go around and cross off ones that are duplicate. And then you could all kind of do an exercise on which ones pop to the top. No limit, you know, on which ideas pop to the top, and then over the next 2 weeks, city staff will vet them and kind of come back with rough estimates. Is it a viable idea? From kind of public works perspective. Because by the 26th, we certainly want to have something that will then feed into what we're asking council to fund.
And the specific task is to come up with the ideas for projects.
It's mini.
Why is it tiny? That's so fun. I'm not really sure. Always, well, you know, the public can see it full size.
We're saving money on pixels.
You all.
Never seen.
I wonder if we put it on the other screen or down, if it'll go bigger.
Down here.
It's smaller.
Hey.
Maybe unshare.
Yeah.
More. There you go.
I'm sure we'll open it, make it finish here. Share screens, to share window.
We can't see from way over here. There we go, okay. So share.
3 weeks between meetings and we all forget what we're supposed to
It's
do.
that one that's how
Even me.
It came last week. No one was here, like, wait, why? Oh, because it was not just.
It's the second report, yeah, and there was an extra week there.
I haven't been trained on how to use all these.
That almost got me too, so.
And I used the last name, so I'm just like.
Well, I can look over Rita's shoulder and tell you all what the ideas are. And then I can transfer them over here.
I mean.
Do we get to put ideas too?
Yeah, there's a sheet for everyone. But I just thought I would show you what we had done. Cause I asked everyone,
Just cause of it.
I'm still down to bring the Star Trek in the park to Duvall.
yeah, no, that's weird.
That's right here. That's actually on my notes, right here.
Still coming up tiny.
And much more doable than some.
Alright, so I'll just look at this.
I can grab this one over here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
24 hours.
I've talked to a couple of people about it, everyone loves it.
Oh.
Admittedly, my friends are all a little.
Okay, so this one I already showed you all. Which was to work on this staircase down there. And then, next slide, Rita. And then build out some kind of, you know, native garden space or seating area or something to make this a little kind of pocket, like a pretty pocket park or something like that. And this is a picture of kind of what it could look like, something like this at the end with a mural in the back and a seating area and a little picnic area. I can't remember where I pulled this. It was from a city that had alleys where they had taken their alleys and created these pretty little gardens and seating area. This is probably on the higher end of expense.
Do we know who would be responsible for maintaining these once they're installed?
Yeah, so this is on the ideas of I need to have vetted. This was my brain. And I'm sure our public works department would have thoughts. So I have no idea how much a concept like this costs.
It's pretty, I'm sure they'll love it.
They'll love it, they'll love it.
If you get like local plants and things that can be maintained easily. It's probably not gonna be that bad.
The big problem is gonna be keeping the blackberries now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and the stairs are not a big staircase, but they would certainly have to be treated with something that would have paint adhere to it. The picture that I picked is a stairwell in the Issaquah Highlands by where I currently live, but But they had to treat it with like a little kind of goopier stuff that also had grip before they painted them.
There's kind of this little walkway around the ice cream store that has like the colored rocks, and I know they make gravel.
Mhm.
And
The fluorescent.
colors and fluorescent and glow in the dark, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so this is on the higher end, next slide. So then these are two other ideas, the first is at Big Rock Ball Field. We have with the Seattle Astronomical Society, stargazing. So we could take a side of the snack shack. It's my term, I call it snack shack, and do a night skies mural with possibly, this would be a goal associated with that mural. Looking towards getting night sky designation in the city of Duvall, which I know certain council members have been interested in doing. So this would be an example of a partnership that we would do with that group. And then I can't remember, I probably just Googled night sky murals, but you know, one that would be relevant for what our night skies look like. The second idea, which was a staff generated idea, is to do a McCormick bench paint project where we choose a theme and paint the park benches in McCormick Park. There's quite a few of them. So that's from a place in Florida, so it's orange trees. They picked a park and did various orange trees throughout. Yeah. In McCormick Park, you know, it's a challenging park because of the structure of it and the shoreline, but it could use a little beautification throughout and a little color. Next slide. So these are two less expensive ideas. One is World Photography Days, October 19th, and so I kind of came up with a concept of a photography contest around people, the environment, engaging in animals, engaging in Duvall. So, and then we would put, probably, you know, you'd wanna do a small monetary prize for the winners, like first and second place, and then we'd figure out how to publicize the winners, whether putting it on the website or something like that. And then we do Earth Day. And so Earth Day recycled giraffe contest. Again, we do an Earth Day event down in Depot Park that's sponsored by Waste Management. So this might be one where we could ask Waste Management to give us a little more for that event that we already do, but have, you know, engagement with people doing recycled art. And then next one, and then I think this is the final one. So there are these things where it's treatment on sidewalks that when it rains, it shows messages. It's called rain art. And so I just pulled a couple different examples. This is one of those things that's extremely inexpensive to do. You'd want the cost really is the product, but the stencils, which are not terrifically expensive to do.
I love this because.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a ton of them. If you Google them, they're very cute.
How long do they last?
I don't know what the time is, like if they have to be done like every year.
I think we looked at it before, we looked at this option at Main Street downtown, I thought there were a few months, they don't look too long.
Yeah.
But it's
I think they have
months.
to be redone like at least every year, every 6 months. But they're very cute.
Yep.
And again, our idea that's very inexpensive and kind of fun.
I like that also because it's temporary, like 6 months is a good amount of time, and it allows you to switch it out every day, so.
Yeah, you can have a theme every year.
Mhm.
And you can have some targeted for kids too, that would be, that they would love.
I think that was it, right?
Are these pre-made stencils or would we be engaging local artists to come up with designs?
Sounds like we could do either.
Yeah, these were, you would have to create the stencils yourself. Although the company that started this actually is from Seattle. So they might have some pre-canned things, but I think you would wanna do like a competition or something.
That's a no-brainer. Honestly, if we can do that with by supporting a local company and. Yeah, that's just very good.
Is it gonna like run into the water? Make it fish layer?
So I looked into it and it does claim to not have toxic environmental effects. So those were just kind of the mix of ideas that staff brought that kind of go from high end, it would be high impact but expensive to pretty low impact. That's fantastic. So my thought would be, I'll take the funnel and I'll put these ideas on a butcher paper. But everybody else, if you brought ideas, put on the butcher paper and then we can go through an exercise of what you want then staff to work on for the next 2 months in terms of pricing or. I have pens, in case these don't work, we have markers and then I have.
The staff ideas, are you gonna be putting those up yourself?
Yeah, I'll just put them on the left one over there. Thank you. And I'll use crayons so everybody can keep the Sharpies to themselves.
What if we want great?
You can have crayons, I have a bunch of them.
All right.
She gets fighting on nights.
I really appreciate you saying that's all.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Sorry, come on, crayons.
Crime, thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you want a crayon from this box, I have more. Anywhere? Right anywhere? I would pick one for you.
You probably already, if you want to rewrite the ideas that were just presented as well, if you like those or.
You can do whatever you like. The crayons do not show up very well.
Come on, you're tired, but you look like so that you're rough.
Not in any way, shape or form, like we spelled her out.
The key. I marked myself little notes and. To select this. Search.
Before you start sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think it might make sense for if, when you're all done, to kind of present your ideas so people know what they're.
I love the draft, love gauge, I say yay.
Yeah, that's my.
Hey, that's my good idea. That was my idea. Oh, okay.
I just turned 50 and I got on my knees and this is not what you do. I don't want to say that. I can be able to get up. I haven't told my knees they're.
Well, I don't know, but I was thinking we would be ready to get that after.
City Council has been talking about,
I'm sorry,
regulations for bus service recently.
and they are not interested.
Really?
Not at all.
Oh, why? No bus trips? Are you kidding me? Like, if we're gonna have the arts, that's so awesome. Yeah. You can't just be me out there starting crazy poetry and singing all thing. New York, it's like so much changes in about buskers.
But that doesn't mean that we can't put it on for reconsideration, but I did have it on council agenda and created a policy for it. And they were not interested in picking it up.
Did they say why?
A variety of reasons. I think the potential for it to be abused and to bleed into panhandling was.
No, that's not gonna happen, there's nothing. Like we.
It's happening, right?
But
It's happening already, that's part of the problem.
I actually stepped more on my skirt than anything else.
Yeah, just not this table that we have any skirts.
I know, and I sit here and I have to think about what I wear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna not wear
And we do have skirts, we just don't put them on. So I think we have skirts in that, in the cabinet, yeah.
Alright. Oh, one more, I forgot.
I make a minor statement about McCormick Park benches, so it doesn't sound like I'm picking anybody. I love the idea of painting them, I hate those benches, and they need to be replaced, reset, some of them are like a foot off the ground.
Oh, I know, I was at Summer Stage on Wednesday. And last Wednesday, and this family they were doing like a. Kind of like a. I can't think of the word. Like a family picnic, reading. And they were trying to find a space. And there were people with mobility issues, and every bench they went to, they were like, well, this isn't gonna work, and it was very hard for them to find something that would, a location in that park that would accommodate the mobility challenges, and it ended up being like 30 of them. Trying to find a spot in the park.
But I would really go yes, the bench painting, so yeah,
If they're reset,
if they're appropriately set in place,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
ADA compliant.
but for now, let's get this thing.
Well, I have ideas.
Never would be largest fountain.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, sorry.
I'm not an artist, I'm.
Well, do you wanna go one at a time and tell each other about what you have on here so people know what you're voting for?
Sure, I'm happy for that. I'll go first if no one else wants to. Oh, my day first. Oh, go ahead.
There. Right, moving up for me, the big one for me is the giraffe river gauge, for flood gauge, and we can put what levels.
Oh, in McCormick Park.
Yeah,
And we paint that as a, yeah, that's adorable.
Actually, commission statue.
Yeah, something that'll last,
Real flag.
yeah.
For seriously.
There's a little space over here that has like a little kind of garden and some benches in it. I'd love to see a fountain go there, and people really want a water feature, so.
Are you talking right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And another thing that I've been kind of rolling out around, when I was growing up, and this woman had like 12 committees. And she was a teacher, and her students would bring her like things from all over, largely rocks and plants. So she had this rock and plant garden that was just amazing to walk through. It'd be really cool to have a local plant and rock garden for teaching. So, those are my. I know there's lots of other ones that I've heard that I really love, so.
All right, come on.
Thanks.
Well, I'll vote for Bill. So I've got quite a few here. And one of them is something that I noticed not too long ago while showing my parents around. It's what I'm calling color pops. We have a lot of retaining walls on Main Street that are just slate gray brick. Especially in winter when it's overcast and it's gray, it kind of makes downtown and the south area just look very gray. Very simple thing we can do is just paint a few, not the whole wall, but a few of the bricks, different colors. Or a section of those bricks, different colors. Cheap way to get color into the area, easy to maintain, and it makes it look a little less gray. That's one. Two, plays in the park, which uses the stage down at the new stage at Depot Park. Things like Star Trek in the park, Doctor Who After Dark, which is another one I found out they do. But also like Shakespeare in the park, or even if the school is doing a school play, place out there for them to actually do it for the public. Something to do in the spring or the fall when it's actually comfortable to stay out there. I love Summer Stage, and I'm glad it's only an hour and a half because it can be kind of oppressive. But this would be something where you could have an extended like 2 or 3 hour play and still be comfortable in the fall or the winter, assuming the weather is actually gonna work for you. Third, this is actually an idea that of all things, Councilmember Knapp and I came up with, which was, we were actually doing the history tour in town. She just happened to be there and we were talking about things. And I agree with doing this because I think it's a neat idea. If we can take the graffiti on the Woodinville Duvall Bridge, I don't know if we can or not, because I don't know if that's the state or the county bridge or ours, and make it into an open area graffiti wall. Basically, if they're gonna paint stuff on there anyway, let's give them an artist's canvas to do it with versus just putting their name on there or tagging with stuff. Let them actually do art, because a lot of those graffiti artists are working 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes to do something very, very quick, and then running off before they're caught. Let's give them some time to actually do something. So that's one that I have there, and it's free, because they'll be doing it themselves. I'm sorry?
They had to do it underneath the bridge anyway, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing, is to actually just, let's beautify that area, but let them do their thing.
Get graffiti on the wall instead of tags.
Yeah, exactly. Self-directed art walk, a mobile guide or a paper guide through town. This actually already exists. The Mountain to Sound Trust has done an art walk through Duvall, as well as for the general Snoqualmie Valley area. This was another idea that happened while we were doing the history walk, and Councilmember Napoli was concerned that since we didn't control that, it would go away. So having our own version of that, or possibly adopting the Mountain to Sound Trust, if we can buy, I guess.
I have a copy of it.
Oh, great, great, and then we can use that as a basis to create our own, or just use that as it is. It's a little bit outdated, it's several years old at this point. But that's something that we can do to actually get people walking around town. The visitor center mural, I love our paintings, we should these are great. I would rather have art instead of lists of things that we want to have up here. But yeah, that's one thing that we've been talking about since day one, is painting the back wall, the mural, over the mural. Utility wraps was another one that came off of that Excel sheet. This one we can do pretty easily by just contacting the utility company and choosing some wraps, but one of those wraps, I would love to actually go to the school and run a competition. Where they run a competition of what wrap they can make, that way we can actually have one that's nice,
Which school? There's a bunch in town.
any of them. I mean, we may end up with,
I will share with you that we did the snowplow naming with elementary schools, and we got some very interesting art. We had them both choose the name and give us a sketch of what the name should look like, and now we have a magnet that will go on with a snowplow, the abominable snowplow, this.
the idea of opening it up, maybe we would vote on it on what we wanted, but maybe we should narrow that down to the art students in the schools. This is actually one that I'm very interested in, is a New Year's festival. The New Year's festival would be a late night festival. Basically, at our various art installations around town, doesn't have to be a whole lot of them, because many of them are kind of in one area, concentrated in one area. Someone is out there with the art, some warm drinks or something, 11 o'clock at night. Just wandering the town, we talk about the art piece that's there, we offer them something to drink, and then at midnight, we go down to Depot Park where the bonfire is and celebrate the new year, bringing it in. Everything's over by 1 AM, it gives us a chance to actually do something for the new year. And it gives us a chance to actually have people walk around and see things. An extended version of that would probably need work with the Chamber of Commerce, where we could have some of the stores stay open late and they could offer their wares as well as chocolates and such and so on, to make it into a full-on, come shop Duvall at 11 o'clock at night kind of thing.
Don't make people live that.
We would close it before, but that would also be something. I would not make them do that. And two other ones, a Main Street picnic area. Grateful Bread already has one of those, but it's basically, from what I've seen, is just an open grass area. Something with a proper picnic table, preferably covered, trash bin, someplace where people can buy from Red Pepper, which I'm thinking the lot next to Red Pepper would actually work really well, but they could go Domino's, they could go from anywhere and just have a place to sit down and eat. Where it's nice and covered. In the summer, you'll not have to worry about it being too hot with the sun. And in the winter, you wouldn't have to worry about rain, because it would be covered. This is based on ideas of the old Texas picnic areas, which used to dot the entire state, which I have very fond memories of road tripping.
It doesn't freeze in Austin.
That is true. That is true. And the final one is a digital mascot, which also came from our Excel sheet, which we first got. And if this is not a giraffe, I'm going to be very disappointed. And that's all I got. Mind you, like half of these ideas aren't mine, I'm just putting them out for people, but thank you.
I can read mine from here. The first one I went, which would be a big one, but the forest trolls, if you guys have seen.
Oh,
that,
they're
like,
amazing,
well,
one's great.
I'd say it could be a rather high dollar thing, but something that's in the park would be super neat. It's a kind of an underutilized space, it's really neat. The book bench, so again, I'd love to see that thing come back. I would really like to see that come back. A piano, that is, right?
We just saw a piano.
Right, but on the street, yeah, and then with the piano thing, we did that the centennial year, it was a really neat thing, we just had it on Main Street, it was all painted up, it was. And actually, people played it more than you might think, it was kind of fun, and that could be something that moves around. Rain art, I like the idea, I think it's great, I think you can move it all over town, so you can really catch lots of neighborhoods, lots of things.
What
Another
does that mean? It's rain art.
The rain art, what they were showing earlier, so there was like, stencils, yeah. I like that, I love the stairs is great. Same idea, the park gathering, performance plaza or pavilion or whatever you want, I like the space next to it, Red Pepper. But again, that's not a very large project, because that's like a park acquisition, that's property, that's, but it's kind of a shared thing, again, we're talking goals, that lot has been open, I don't know, forever. So, you know, eventually, it's an idea, big ideas, and then the planks, I still think we have to finish the planks, I mean. By the time we get done finishing the planks, we're gonna have to start them over again. So, it'd be nice to actually finish that, and then the plank queues, so a lot of the same stuff we're talking about.
I can't read my own. No, sorry. One of the things that I would really like to see, I mean, we're focusing so much on downtown, but Duvall's a lot bigger. I mean, there are all these little parks throughout Duvall that are just kind of generic stuff. But it'd be nice to have a theme, like the trolls or woodpeckers. Something like that to see in all the different parks. And maybe the playground structures could be kind of an artistic bent somehow too. I think the kids would love them. And then the historical Duvall scenes, but somehow we've got to get those incorporated in somehow. Other than just on planks. I don't have any further ideas on that. And maybe we could have like one historical piece, give a clue to locating the next historical piece, and just kind of have people explore Duvall that way. And I think we need to include salmon somehow. You know, with carving or painting, with a salmon run. I mean, other than just on the side of that restaurant, so. Anyway.
I can read mine from back here. I'll skip the first because it's already been touched on. I also agree a lakeside giraffe statue to replace our existing pole. Right, or flood gauge would be a nice little local touch. I still think it's silly, but I also love the idea of a river to rafting. It is getting everybody together to float on the Snoqualmie River one day a year in inner tubes. They decorate with local weird eccentric themes, and we do a float by Taylor Park where presumably we'll have a few small events and vendors set up.
That's great, and my police officers can actually use the jet skis anytime.
I'm sure they'll be devastated.
Haven't paid the jet skis. And finally, Dinosaur Wall. I don't know how many of you spend much time on Third Avenue. There is a retired couple there whose grandson leaves his plastic dinosaur toys all over their retaining wall at this point for years. And it is just so charming to walk by, and I would love to continue that along the long stretch of dull gray retaining wall we have all along Third Avenue. Just scavenged secondhand dinosaur toys and statues, painting up some of those larger retaining boulders, rocks, whatever we want to call them. Just a little pop of local color and weirdness on that fairly nondescript stretch of sidewalk.
We can even do like take a time or leave a time.
Yeah.
Kids will come from all over the region.
That's could be education. That's true.
Okay, is that
Yes.
So in the teacher and art and HR thing, one thing, a lot of young kids are not out. They're not playing outside, they're not even understanding what's outside their being voice. So my thought was, we'd have a thing called Hype. And it would have 4 seasonal workshops, and this would be run by volunteers. Of course, you need someone to coordinate it, but summer, an example would be in spring, you would have bird viewing in the valley, because we have migratory birds. And then they could plant seeds, you could bring the civic club in to do some plant orientation type of thing. observing nature, creating art projects, you have nature journals for kids and animals. To educate kids and give kids the opportunity to be outside and understand, so we could be putting science with art, with nature all together. And then in summer, we would be building a pollinator garden, adding to the pollinator garden. And then we would learn all about our local pollinators, because there's more than just bees, there's actually nectar, wasps, and things that are very good. And then we invite beekeepers, because we have quite a few in the valley. And then we'd have art projects, and we could be sculpting insects out of recycled containers and things, right, and making fun insects with that. And then in the fall, we would have salmon, and we actually do have salmon that come up by Kelly's Road up there. They're up that stream up there. And changing of seasons, and then we could have leaves art type of projects, and we would then talk about the science of what is happening and how animals are getting ready for hibernation, et cetera, and be observing what's going on in the valley, because we have nature's our thing here, so we can use it. And then in winter, we would have holiday indoor crafts, that everything would be hibernating, but then we would take like your evergreens and winter plants, and we would create nature elements and objects from winter type things, including things like fairy garden houses and stuff like that. And all of these things are gonna incorporate, this is actually can be low cost, because we can get donations and we can get volunteers. And could be hosted a place like this, and in my vision would be that to incorporate is, get kids to come to this sort of free thing. And also for those who can't come, to have the projects online and the guest speakers online, so that kids, even if they're not here, could actually see and learn about science and learn about nature and that sort of thing. So that's.
So would you think about, like, where would you put these products, these creations?
Oh, they keep it, they
They
take
keep
it with
it.
them, yeah, it would be for them, yeah.
I like that, cause it would really like partner with like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts and things like that to form badges and things that are into these things. I like that a lot.
Like a senior center?
The library too, you can bring in librarians, pieces of that stuff, do story hours.
Lots of options here. So that was my idea, it's pretty much it's low cost.
Not keeping this for the public. Okay, and I know I've got a lot, so I'll try to be quick. I would love to see a vending machine somewhere in the main retail corridor, stacked with local artists, art and books for people to buy, for like 5, 10, 20, 25 bucks. And the artists stock them, and this is just something that happens. I would love, in addition to the other giraffes, wouldn't it be great if we had in one of the parks, giraffe periscope? So kids, like, because there was periscopes when I was growing up, and they were fantastic. Because suddenly you can look up, you're 20 feet up, and the perspective is just so nice. As part of my side project, ever since I was a kid, I was fascinated with the early scientists who was lowered into a well to look up into the sky and during the day. And you can actually do that. It has to be between like 60 and 100 feet. But wouldn't it be great to have not necessarily a well, but a tower? And you could have a glass top over it, and it would be like an agricultural tower with a glass top, and then the acoustics would probably be fantastic. So we could have a recording studio, rehearsal, performance space, meditation space. And part of that also a sound garden for like when it's raining outside, you get different sounds from things. Let's see, river giraffing on clear bottom giraffes. We are material culture here. We have, we've got such a wide variety of income, but we've also got so much waste. And everyone I know is always, bringing stuff to the thrift store. My Buy Nothing group is, we try to share it with one another first, but there's still so much. Wouldn't it be great if there was something centralized for the city so that your kids, for the art projects, could just go and shop the crap we've got already piling up and keep it out of the landfill? We do have some homeless people. I was horrified one night, the Lantern Festival, to see somebody setting up to sleep right outside the library. It would be great to have some just sleep pods to keep people from freezing to death. And we can decorate them inside and out with different paintings. Buskers, I want a bubble festival. Bubble festival would be inexpensive. I would love to see some kind of water feature on the bridge, just even if it's one of those little like spurt up fountains, you know, the bridge is so boring. Oh, recording studio again, small scale movie studio, right? And the costs for this aren't that much because like prosumer stuff is so inexpensive now. It's mostly just space and training, which, you know, there's already a lot of training out there. But, you know, it's the difference between art getting made and art not getting made. And the library now deals a hell of it too. I don't know what the deal is with Main and 143rd or Kennedy, but because it's empty and there's probably something to, but I want to see a world-class physics museum.
Is that the lot that has the White House that's kind of dilapidated a little?
Yeah.
A mosque is going there.
Oh,
Yes, yes, it is.
I had meant to write poets in the park, but it looks like dark, but I think we could do poets in the park in the dark. Wouldn't it be great to have like candlelight poets, you know, just on a Thursday in December when you need a break. Wouldn't it be lovely if we had an artist in residence in our city? Because half of us are artists anyway, but just to have like a little bit of, support them monetarily so they can take a month or two off, but have it rotate between disciplines, right? So 1 year it's a writer, next year it's a photographer, next year it's a sculptor. The bus stop shelter at Duvall Highlands needs something. It's so awful to look at. Maybe a graffiti wall or a mural or information, right? Just stuff that needs something. I would love to see in some of the parks a gazebo, like a covered dance space, just an open space, so kids, but also dancers could just go to dance. Also, I lived in a city once that had an art loan program where the museum and the city like owned pieces and also citizens could lend their pieces. But say, you know, you've got this one painting that's great, you're remodeling, you're just tired of looking at it, you loan it out so that someone else can keep it for a quarter or 6 months. And like passport stamps, so that when people go to different artsy things in town, there's a little stamp, they can do little stamps too, but even just like a little, now stop talking now.
It's wiki.
All right, well, each of you has a sheet of dots. And in case you don't know kind of the philosophy on dot exercises, you can sprinkle them throughout all of the ideas. You can put all, I don't know how many are there on one page. 15. You can put all of them on one. But yeah, if you would kind of take the time to kind of upvote the things that you are most interested in, and then Rita and I will take the sheets and create a kind of top list, and then we'll vet them and come back on the 26th with cost estimates and logistical ideas.
All of our own ideas count as one, just out of curiosity, because some of us would have to spend a lot of our own things
Yeah.
for one of our votes.
And it's unlimited.
Also-
Oh, sorry.
I put a makerspace there.
Yeah.
Because I would really like to see us have a makerspace. Doesn't have to be us, could be the library, could be someone else, but I think it's in our wheelhouse.
We should do whatever we can to make it possible.
There is actually an art studio down here, there's very much maker space, it's open on, pretty much anyone wants.
Yeah, so use all the dots on your sheets.
Okay, and this is all we've got.
Unless, let's see, unless you want more, because I think there is, but you all have to take the same amount.
Right.
Yeah, to make it, you know, So it's up to you. Is this enough, or I'll give everyone one more sheet?
I think this is,
This is good.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to.
it's just something.
We need to understand the rules.
Otherwise, everybody that's all.
Use all the dots on your sheet, and that's it.
Vote for your own or don't vote for your own. That's a nice question.
I go for you last. That's how I.
I love them.
Thank you, I would rather.
And you guys deconflict the duplicates, right?
When we went to check the little apple codes, like four years and just cut it away, nobody knows who maintains them. And all of the items in them are secret and wrapped in nondescript around paper.
Really?
Yeah. So you just buy something randomly for a random amount of money. And you get like books and weird antiques and. And, yeah.
It's hard.
It's strange.
Not a lot.
And August.
This is just.
I'll
Yeah, it's- it wouldn't be- I don't think it's all black. I love it. I don't like. feel that, yeah. And we got lots of good space.
I think there's 2 or 3 in Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, actually on this spot. For the handful.
I'm just gonna do the dinosaur one on my own.
Nothing's stopping you.
Exactly, I just need to start getting some.
We'll keep a list of all of the ideas. So even if these don't get voted, we'll make sure that we transcribe all of the ideas, just so you have them.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Maybe draft it, okay, running away between a couple votes, getting happened.
Yeah.
Bring that to reality.
Yeah.
You just need to find something that you think that's a life size fiberglass or metal around.
Wow.
What is it doing? Is it focus on that and complete it? Yeah, meeting with Ellen today, because she.
Really needs
Not
something.
about it, it's on the merge, so they didn't have a friend last week, just said, well, she showed me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the way Byron goes too, is like, you know, it drives them, yeah, and then, yeah. Go for all of these.
It's one big.
One big idea, yes. All I know today.
But I hear.
I am making that in my mind right now. There are bubbles. There's what people talking about, the other, about kids and making bubbles. We could hire one. I don't know, there are people who do the bubble presentation and you.
Yeah, you remember, was there in that shot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They used to be in our recycling center.
And that's.
Or it was called re something. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's so hard too, because there's stuff that you know.
It certainly looks like the giraffe floodgate is coming back and they.
Yeah.
We're such a fun group.
You know, after years of other side of government.
Yeah, right. The fun stuff.
The fun part.
But that should just be good.
Okay, so Rita, I have it plugged right in.
Should be good.
Am I supposed to do something else?
It's not gonna be really easy for us to put together. The frameworks will be so easy. It'll just be a matter of talking to the council, order, when I want to get on order.
Right, and what was that?
It's over time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Back to it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's.
We're looking at a rain gauge. One gauge.
Why not both?
There's no reason we can't fill the picture out with rain.
All right, well, we will pull these down and get back to everyone on them. And, yeah, we'll have things back in time for the next meeting.
Thank you again, so much for everything.
Yeah, we really appreciate you keeping us organized.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh.
Well, I have to.
Okay, these are all here.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, pictures.
I've got my phone.
I have it. All right, I'll take pictures while you all finish.
Okay, assuming that we're pretty much done with the future projects. There's one more piece of business on the agenda.
I mean, I could throw a lot more future project ideas, but. I didn't know you were. Not fun to be.
Give me 1 second, I gotta log back into this. We'll go through.
So you think it's not connected?
It says my caps lock is on, but I don't know how to turn the caps lock on the digital one. Just bear with me. The last part was the plank project. You've had, basically it's just clarification of a question that Commissioner Tozer had about the money issue on the, I might also have to turn this on. There was an, so because we have two people who have, or at least one person that I know of has submitted a design, but not said that they cannot actually do the work. The division of the artist money for that, that's actually in the call for artists. And since I can't log in, I'm just gonna go off the top of my head and Rita can help you with that.
Yeah, so the artist design is 500 and then the creating of the planks is 40.
So the idea would be that the designer would still get the design money, but whoever actually creates the plank will get the creation.
Oy. Okay, yeah, the stickers aren't sticking, so.
Oh, no.
We got pictures. And that was basically, unless anyone else has anything on the plank project, that was all I had for that. It's just a clarification of who was getting what money and why.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, there's a risk that the $500 designs don't come to fruition, but all that.
So anything further?
We have 3 artists, right?
Yes, 3 artists. Anything further on the plank project?
Well, I guess where are we? Sorry, I'm trying to click through too. So where are we on that in general? Are we waiting to award that, or is that what this conversation is, or?
No, the conversation was just to clarify the cost. We're actually still waiting to hear back. I don't know if we've heard back, Rita.
Yeah,
So
So she
Jolie
has-
has come already to pick up 4 planks.
Okay.
He couldn't fit all 8. He
Got it.
agreed to do 8. He
Got
couldn't fit all 8 in his cart.
Oh,
So
nice.
he'll be back for the other 4. And then I need to I was out of town for about 10 days. So I need to, before I left, I followed up with Dan and he said yes. So I need to follow back up with him to see when he can pick up planks.
And then, Commissioner Tozer, you asked about the old planks, and so that is, on the fall work plan for public works, they're waiting until, we get done with all the summer stuff. And then they'll, couple things. Down in Depot Park, so one, putting the old planks and building pedestals for the planks, and then the other is to build the stage over that bump out in Depot Park.
Do you have something?
Yeah, I would, so you have a designer, and do you have someone who's your artistic designer to carve too as well?
I believe that's Dan Control.
Gonna carve,
Is
is he gonna carve?
you said someone picked up the planks already?
Yeah,
Jolie
Jolie
did.
picked up.
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
planks.
I misunderstood that. I thought he had picked up the planks to start work on.
Yes, Jolie did.
Oh.
Jolie picked up planks.
So-
for his own designs, yeah.
Yes, Dan
For
has,
his own design.
yes, his
Yeah,
own
okay.
designs. I did, yes, I did speak to him about the additional designs that were submitted and he said, let me think about it. So,
So the artist would only get paid if they're used.
It was Dan in the same boat, are they doing the same amount of boards? I wasn't sure where all that
Yeah.
went either.
I'm a little bit rusty on what
Okay.
Dan said. I want to say that he also said he was interested in doing the 2 sets, but I'm gonna follow up with him tomorrow just to make sure.
And my apologies for any confusion on that. This exercise got all my brain scrambled. Anything further on the plank project?
Just to be clear, so did we also ask Dan Cottrell if he would do the other artists?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, and he's also thinking about it,
Yes, yeah, that's who I need to follow up with, still is with Dan, so.
thank you.
And how many are they doing each artist on these lines?
8.
8.
a lot.
Yeah.
That's what Jolie said.
So potentially one of them could be doing 12. The other artists as well. Wow.
No, I think they would be using those designs to do
Oh,
a set
okay.
only, so then plus their own designs on one set.
Anything further?
Not related to planks. It's related to, if you want me to do any further research on exact organizations on the topics, I put down for funding options. And-
So, real quick,
Yes.
we're gonna move to go to the order,
Okay.
and now we can talk about. Go right ahead, go ahead.
So I gave a little list of some of the ways you could get funding, and specifically, the arts district, the policies for percentage that comes in from development and organizations, but there's also federal organizations, which if you wanted to look further, because that will take time to go look into those. I wasn't sure if you're interested in national and federal granting agencies. That was my question.
I would very much like to have that just for general information, just to have it so that we can start looking at things and we can start trying to plan for it. Absolutely, that'd be a great idea. I know we've already sent some information. I'm gonna have to dig it out again, but absolutely, any source of funding that we can get to beautify the city, we should probably.
Do we have a budget at this point for the city?
I think that's what the biennial plan is supposed to have them. Is gonna have the city council give us the budget from our biennial.
I can help with this, so. In the biennial work plan, you're supposed to identify opportunities for collaboration with outside entities and agencies to broaden the impact of public art, which we kind of already talked about, they're doing creative district. And then it says identification of any known funding mechanisms for public art in Duvall. I think some of these ideas would then lend itself to certain funding agencies. And then if there are more broader grants that you want to bring in for different kinds of art other than what you've identified here, you could list that. But the way it's going to work is we're going to recommend to council certain ideas that were generated tonight, and they'll decide whether or not to fund them. And then that will be put into the biennial budget for 25 and 26.
Because with education, there's a lot of educational grants out there.
So like your idea, for instance, could be funded through potential grants with educational organizations.
Anything further? No. Then I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting, the August 12th, 2024 meeting at 7:04. Thanks for coming.
So